the Jet defenders overplaying. Play the field. Play the clock.
Well, they get to the line quickly, don't they? Brady goes for the big ball to Moss. He reels it in with right hand, right over Revis. Beat him this time. Boy, they got to that line really fast. I think the Jets were even caught off guard.
That's part of their strategy. We said it early. It's the pace of the game. Keep changing it up. What a throw. And I don't even have to say what a catch. Revis, where's the deep safety?
Moss knew he had him, too. He put that hand up early, didn't he? Look at that snag.
Oh, my God.
How big was the touchback, too? The misplay down at the one on the punt coverage. Look at the Moss. Roethlisberger, they lost.
Greetings, people of Earth. Sorry about that little delay there. Little technical difficulties, but we are good to go. We are live on Rumble. We are live on YouTube. We will be uploaded to X shortly. Greetings. How is everybody this evening? Welcome to our Thursday night show. We are early. Yeah, we're early for a lot of reasons, but what a crazy week. What an absolutely crazy week. Let's get to this first. There's all kinds of news in the headlines today. Of course, one of them being Randy Moss. It was announced. Well, he came out and he announced it himself that he had cancer. He just went over survived a 6-hour operation, which is absolutely insane. Just devastating news. We all know Randy will be Randy. But one thing about Randy is, what a player. It's right there. I had to do all this quick because of the news, because there's so much going on in the NFL this week. I'm backlogged, so I'm trying to get to everything. So if I miss something, oh well, we'll get back. We'll eventually get to it. But of course, we have to take care of the big news, and this is definitely big news. This is on the human level because we're talking about a God-gifted athlete and just an amazing person. Charity-wise, contribution-wise, everything that he's been involved in on and off the field and in the studio, well-loved. Randy, very sad to hear what happened, but your spirits sound good and the fight's on and we're all behind you and we love you, Randy. And we can only just pray for the best, my friend. And, you keep up the fight and we'll keep up the prayers. And let's hope everything works out for Randy Moss, who undoubtedly one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Hey, maybe he's in my top 5 of all time. You gotta check that out. The Wednesday night show, the NFL top 5 players of all time. We did punters. Tomorrow night we're doing tight ends, and our spotlight player for tomorrow night is Spider Lockhart from the Giants. But I just wanted to take a quick second and just pay homage and give gratitude and credit where it's due in Randy Moss. There's a hashtag he's been using, Let's Moss Cancer. So I put it in there and just want to let you know you're in our hearts and we're praying for you, Randy. Get back out there soon, buddy. We miss you and we love you. Randy Moss, one of the greatest of all time. Keep up the fight, Randy. Love you. And we continue down the path of sad news. It was also announced that yesterday the dean of referees, what is claimed, not claimed, but heroic by every peer and coach and player and there's nothing bad that you could say about Jim Tunney, and he was the epitome of referees. And hey, man, he had a great life. He passed away at 95 yesterday. Very, very sad news. Tunney was the bomb. He was the epitome of referees. You got to remember, guys that came after him, man. I want to start mentioning names. I know Red Cashman comes to Ed Hockley. I mean, I got so many names in my head right now. Trying to think of all these different referees I see, but I'm not starting to get confused with umpires and shit. They kind of meld. But Mr. Tunney stood above the rest, and like I said, they proclaimed him to be the dean of the referees, the greatest football referee in the history of the game. I mean, I heard it, I looked for it, but I'm pretty sure he's the only referee in the Hall of Fame. He's the only one in Canton. I'm pretty sure that they gave him that honor, but it's sad to see that he passed away. But like I said, hey, nobody wants to die. It doesn't really matter how old you are or anything like that. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody wants to go, but 95 is pretty cool. That's a long, healthy life. My grandmother went 99, by the way. My grandmother did live to 99. But yeah, so we fight for Randy and his fight against cancer, and we say goodbye to a true, true, true legend of not only the game, but of the history of the sport of football. Jim Tunney, you will be missed. I don't know how the picture here, I mean, that's a smaller version, but if you really look at this picture and you look at Tunney, it's just weird, man. He's locked in into exactly what Montana's telling him. And I guarantee you he's going to explain it to him. And that's why guys had a hard time arguing with him or anything like that. And of course, I have found him over there, the old Bucks. So, yeah, Jim Tunney, to you, rest in peace, my friend, and to your family. You just take the good with the bad and enjoy what he gave us. He gave us plenty to remember him for. So, again, one last time, we say goodbye to Jim Tunney, game's greatest referee, and we also say our prayers and put our thoughts and everything else out there for Randy and his fight against the Big C. Yeah. Quite honestly, fuck cancer, man. Fucking sick of this shit. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy that stuff happens. What's up, Texas? Thanks for stopping in, Texas. Thanks for stopping in, Texas. Appreciate you, man. So yeah. So let's recap last week and see. Let's get into some happier stuff. Let's talk some fucking football. What do you say? We talk some football. Okay, we're gonna talk some football. Last week's winners. What did we do? Oh, guess what? We went 10-6 last week. Again, on our picks, we went 10-6. We're 30-18 with our picks over the last 3 weeks. Again, another 500 week for our over and unders at 8-8. But yeah, our winners from week 15 were Kansas City, Cincinnati, the Jets, Ravens, the Broncos, the Bills, the Cards, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Buccaneers all won for us. And we, like I said, we were 500 on the 500 on the over and unders. We did lose the Pittsburgh game. No, it wasn't Pittsburgh. Yeah, maybe it was one of the games we lost by the hook. The hook got us in the over-unders this week. That's the first in a couple weeks, though. No weather games. Nothing turned out to be a weather game. So, I mean, other than some little drizzle there and whatchamacallit. Well, no, we had. Yeah, that's right. No, it was just drizzling in Cleveland. It didn't get too bad for that game. But anyway, all right. Let's see what we got going here, folks. Last week. Oh, good old last week. Huge week, man, for a lot of guys. Boy, I'll tell you that. There were some dudes that were doing some fucking smashing. There we go. That's last week. Put that up there. I thought I put that up there. My bad. You guys all know by now, if you've been here a few times, you know it takes me a minute to get going. You know, takes a minute. Just takes a second, boy. That's all. It just takes a second to get warmed up, like in the bullpen. You just don't come out fucking firing. It'll take a minute. All right, it started Thursday night with the Rams and Niners locking up in a hit. Yeah, this game, this Niner team, wow, totally, not what anybody expected out of them this year. I mean, they're 6-8. Yeah, I'll say that again. The 49ers are 6-8 this year, and that's pathetic for San Francisco, to be honest with you. Especially because they set their own standards since the '80s, man. I mean, they even rolled through the '90s tough. They just ran into some tough Dallas teams. They got back on board in the mid '90s, and then just faded and came back a little bit here and there, hit or miss. And now look at them. Super Bowl contenders a couple years in a row. Now they can't get out of their own way. Injury slot, I understand. I know they have a lot of injuries. It's just, what do you? But when you look at injuries and you say to yourself, okay, well the Niners are banged up and blah blah blah. Hey, the Detroit Lions, I think they had to run a hospital. Okay, they got so many guys injured. They got so many guys sidelined. They got so many guys with question marks. But somehow Campbell and that crew is able to plug in missing pieces to fill those holes amazingly and maintain 12-2. Yeah, they ran into a buzzsaw with Buffalo this week. But that's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That ain't Tennessee coming to town. And then the Rams have turned the season around like I thought they would have in the beginning of the season. I mean, they're one of my. I think I picked them for a wild card. I have to go back and look at my original picks on that. But yeah, the Rams have turned it around. They're 8-6 now, and they're in top of the. They're in top. They're in first place. They knocked Seattle out of the freaking playoffs. With Seattle losing. But you've seen that coming a mile away. You know the Packers are red hot. But yeah, the Rams in a big battle, 12-6. Niners, I mean, the 6 points makes it sound like it was close. It wasn't even that fucking close. But yeah, so, look out for the Rams, man. And when we'll get into it in week 16, the matchup this week coming in for the Rams and taking a peek at week 17 like we usually do. So hang in there. Let's see what happens with the week 16 picks coming up. We move on to another game that was, it started out like I thought, like, hey, you know what? This might be something. This might turn out to be something good here. And I'm talking about the Cowboys and Carolina game, which seemed to start out like it was going to be a decent game. And then Carolina, I feel bad, but unfortunately that's what happens in rebuilding years or, it's just one of those years that happen. You kind of expect it for this, but you kind of expect it for that. So whatever happens, happens. But taking it from perspectively, totally under expectations, without a doubt. I mean, they had their hopes on a couple of players there for the Panthers that just didn't come through. And Dallas is any way they can win a fucking game, they'll take it right now. Any fucking way they can do. They probably hope for the team to miss the fucking plane. All right, but the Cowboys, they go to 6-8. Whoa, still way. They're not even. Don't even think about it. Cowboys, you're done. Again, another one of those teams that seems to be playing with a lot of pride right now because they have no choice but to play for pride. And speaking of pride, we'll get to that a little later when we get to the NFL headlines, but some real surprising news out of San Francisco. But then we move on to another, what is up with Kansas City, but what is up with the teams they're playing that they can't capitalize on anything that these fucking guys do wrong? 2-3 years ago, we couldn't wait for these guys to make a mistake. Remember, I was one. I was one. After the Bucks knocked them off in the Super Bowl, I was happy as a pig and shit, of course. But the following year, I'm like, man, these guys not only to get all the breaks, but they fucking make every play that they're supposed to. I mean, that's coaching. That's Andy Reid. They might have to come up with a new award when Andy Reid retires from football to have some kind of coach award or something. They have to come up with something because, Belichick is one thing, but what happened when Brady left Belichick? All right. I get it. But Reid had winning teams in Philadelphia. His problem was the front office in Philadelphia. But he was still a big winner in Philadelphia. When he went to Kansas City, he started a new regime and he started a new, just an incredible run. They just won their 10th in a row? 10th division? That's crazy. In football, that is crazy. Buffalo did it in Buffalo's 4-year run to when the Buffalo made the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. I think they got it. I don't know if they won a division one of those years. I think they lost the division one of those years. I'm not sure. I think they lost the division one of those years and had to go to Miami. So even they didn't do it. I don't know. To me, it's just crazy how football gets sometimes. But the Chiefs, they keep winning. They keep winning and winning. And nobody seems to be taking them down or take advantage of all their mistakes. Now what we got is we do have Mahomes as a question mark. I thought it was an ankle. It turns out it's a knee. They're kind of zipped before I went on the air, so I don't know. All I have is a giant question mark next to Mahomes. So the question is to Andy Reid, does he even want to bother starting him? I mean, you pretty much got it wrapped up. You're 13-1. But then again, you're looking for that number one seed, and Buffalo's running hot, and you only got 3 games left. See what happens. So Chiefs 13-1, Browns dropped 3-11, 21-7. Unbelievable. And then the Dolphins, any hope they had, that went away because Texas decided to play. But again, Texas decided not to score points. So whatever's going on in Texas, it seems to be working. They're 9-5. They win 20-12 over the Dolphins, who dropped to 6-8. And any glimmer of hope is done for the Fins. Then we move on to the most, I guess the big microscope is on the Jets. The Jets moved to 4-10 with a win over the Jaguars, who dropped to 3-11, 32-25. Now, the thing is here is the Jets almost gave the game away in the final couple minutes. But they managed to hang on and win. I mean, rookie quarterback coming in, whatever, threw the interception. Thank goodness. But, yeah, Jets wind up winning the game. Yay. So they go to 4-10. Right. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers is on a 4-10 team. I find it hard to believe Aaron Rodgers on a 4-10 team. I don't know. What do you think? That almost sounds like I made that up. Then we move on to this was I'm sure by now everybody's seen the ending of this game between Redskins and the Saints. Now, if you remember, if you go back to last week, I told you historically these two teams always hook up in an unusual game, even though they're not a division rivalry. They have a history, and their history runs very, very deep, deeper than most people think, dating back to the 70s. So Washington comes in, they win 20-19. They go to 9-5. Saints drop to 5-9. See you later, Saints. When the Saints go marching away. Or the Saints go marching out of the playoffs. Whichever one, whatever song you want to sing. But the thing is, the side judge decides to stop the clock at 9 seconds. For fucking no reason. Just stop the clock. I watched the replay a bunch of times, watched it on this. I seen the clock. It's 3 seconds. There would have been 0 before he even was able to spike the ball. Game over. But for whatever reason, not reviewable, can't do it. It happened. It's over. That's the explanation from the refs. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, bad call, mistake, jumped the gun, panicked. I have no fucking idea. The guy's this fucking far away from the goal line. So he wasn't stopping and thinking, did he score? Let me get a replay. I'll guarantee you that's not what happened. I'll guarantee you what happened. He just didn't know what the fuck was going on. Just lost sight of the fucking game. Or there's no explanation for what that ref did. Stop the clock at 9 seconds. So what happens? They spike the ball. They get a play. They get scored a touchdown. Instead of going for overtime, they decide to go for the win, and they missed the 2-point conversion, and the Redskins walk away with a 20-19 game win. Unbelievable. So yeah, the Commanders go to 9-5, Saints 5-9. Then we go on to the game where I told you folks it was going to be ugly, and man, was it ugly. Lamar Jackson lights it up for 5 touchdowns against the lowly Giants, 35-14. Ravens go to 9-5, and the Giants drop to 2-12. Wow, man. 2-12 for the Giants. It's over for the Giants. There's really not much to say there, folks. That game, like I said, I think the over and under was 41, 42, and I told you Ravens might do it. Well, they could have. Honestly, they could have. They put 35 up. No fucking problem. Then we move to a game that was on our radar. If you remember, I talked about this game a little bit last week. We needed to see what kind of Cincinnati team was going to show up. Well, the Cincinnati team decided to show up, gave up 27 points to the Titans, who I don't think they scored 27 points in the last 2 weeks. Titans go to 3-11. Bengals move to 6-8. They are done. Any hope? Over. See you later. 37-27, they win over the Titans. The Bengals and the Bengals. Oh, I'm sorry. Patriots at the Cardinals. Patriots go to 3-11. Cardinals move to 7-7. Interesting. They're going to be very, very interesting. That final wild card spot in the NFC is, man, there's a lot of teams teetering right now, so it's really, really crucial. Bucks picked up a major win this week. Got the Cowboys on Sunday night. Get past the Cowboys, and then after that, man, it's Carolina and the Saints, and we should be good. We did move up to the 3rd spot with the Rams winning on Thursday night, knocking Seattle completely out of the playoffs and moving Minnesota into that wild card, moving the Packers down. And here we go, man. Like I said, it's on. This is where it sounds very confusing, but if you think about it, it's fun to figure out. So the Cardinals over the Patriots, 30-17 in Arizona. The next game up was the Colts at the Broncos. Colts, they didn't have a shot in this game, to be honest with you. Broncos blow them away 31-13. Colts drop to 6-8. Broncos looking strong at 9-5. And again, they're in a tight position too. There's a lot of teams battling for a couple positions, and we mathematically it looks maybe impossible, but there's still an outside shot. If Kansas City were to lose 2 out of the next 3, they lose the tiebreaker to Buffalo for number 1 seed because Buffalo has won a game in hand. Which brings us to Buffalo beating the Lions like I said they would, 48-42. So last week we had the Bills and Rams hook up for the highest scoring game of the year. So what do? The Bills come back with an encore and put up another game where it's the highest scoring game of the year. It eclipses. They put 90 up, folks. 90 points. Man, I'll tell you what, if you ever wanted a defensive battle, that wasn't fucking it. Again, well, a hard-hitting game. Montgomery, it looks like pretty much, even the word I got out of him before was it looks like it's over for Montgomery for the rest of the year, and that's a major blow. And I would say, hey, that's really going to hurt the Lions, but they've been able to plug players in, so we're going to find out over the next 2 weeks what they got. Schedule is not too bad though for them. So schedule is in their favor maybe. But we'll take a look at that when we make our week 16 picks and peek into week 17. Oh boy! And then we move on to the game. I started to sweat it in the first quarter, but after that, I was just like, you know what? This is going to turn out really good for us. The Bucs go into San Diego. They move to 8-6 now. They've won 4 in a row, and they go on the road in San Diego, and they put the Chargers away 40-17, hurting the Chargers in their fight for the playoffs, making next week's game even more massiver than it was before this week in that loss. But yeah, the Bucs take out the Chargers at 40-17. Steelers Eagles. Thought this was going to be a good one, folks. Boy, was I wrong. It was an ugly game. It looks like Hurts and Brown are back together. They're fun and they're dancing together, and the head coach and the defensive coordinator look like they wanted to kill each other on the sidelines. So everything's good in Eagleville, and they put up their 10th in a row and make franchise history by winning 10 in a row. The Eagles never have done that in the history of their franchise. And you would think that this team lost 10 in a row. So let's keep an eye on the Eagles and see what happens. They move to 12-2. Steelers go to 10-4, 27-13. Then the big game, called it, told you, Packers on the road. Packers play tough in Seattle, take everything and throw it out the window when these two teams hook up, man. 30-13, Seahawks drop to 8-6 and out of the playoffs as of right now. As we're speaking, the Seattle Seahawks at 8-6 are out of the playoffs. Packers move to 10-4, looking stout. We move to the Monday night doubleheader. Vikings all over the Bears, 30-12. That wasn't even close. Bears go to 4-10. Vikings drop. Vikings move to 12-2. Yeah, guess what? Now they're 10-2, and what are the Lions? 12-2. So we got the Vikings 12-2, and we got the Lions at 12-2. Things are really fucking heating up in the NFC. Like I said, what was once secure is no longer secure. The second game of that doubleheader, man, I don't even know. Oh my God. I wonder how many people actually watched this game in Vegas. Might have been the only place watching the game. The Falcons, with all their offense, roll over the Raiders 15-9. Raiders drop to 2-12 down there with the Giants, and the Falcons go to 7-7. All but over for the Falcons, man. Gonna put them to bed. There's your Week 15 wrap up, man. That's a wild week, crazy week, an intense week. A lot of news that week. A lot of shit happened that week. Again, we're looking at some really, really intense matchups coming in here to Week 16. And let's get into it. Let's see what we got for Week 16. while we get week 16 together. I'm going to run that for my sponsors. If you haven't checked out my sponsors, please do so. W Energy Drinks, the alternative to coffee. It is awesome. What Am I is my favorite flavor. It's a different flavor every time it comes. Reaper Apparel Company, again, get in there, man. There's some crazy shit. There's some beautiful design shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts. Man, they got all kinds of crazy designs there. I'm telling you, Reaper Apparel Company. My wife, Christiana Designer Handbags. No two bags are alike. Everything is in the description, folks. You go into the description, you'll see the links for that. For my wife's designer handbags, no two bags are alike. Bowser Bro Painting. You'll see the link in there for them too. So check out the sponsors. And while you're at it, if you could help out the show, we really appreciate it. We would really appreciate that if you could help out the show. We got 2 ways for you to help out the show. One's on Cash App, and the other is PayPal. Kind of easy. Yeah, we appreciate any donations so we can keep bringing you the show. Things are getting good. We're learning stuff. We're learning this equipment. We're learning the insides and outs. We're getting better at producing, I guess. I think I don't know. I think I'm doing good. I think I'm all right. I think I'm a lot better than anything that's out there right now on YouTube or Rumble because I've been paying attention. And to be honest with you, as far as an NFL show goes, what I got going, the picks, the overs and unders, the weekly recap, the NFL top 5 of all time and Spotlight Player show, the Thursday night pregame show we got coming. Loaded up, man. Playoffs are coming. Super Bowl's coming. We are fucking going to blow your mind of what we got coming for you. But in all truthfulness, it's the holidays. It's a beautiful time of year, but we can't do it without you folks. So we need you to help. So either help my sponsors or help us. Either way, you're helping the show, showing up and helping. Thumbs up, share, subscribe, rant, follow, get in the live chat, comments, do anything you got to do, folks. We're here for you. Just hang in there with us. We're getting better. We're getting better. All right, let's move into Week 16's picks. What do you say? Let's see what we got here. Let's get the Week 16 picks. If you're joining us on YouTube or Rumble, hey, you in here, man? Put your picks in, man. You got your picks. Let's compare. Let's compare picks and see how we're doing. I don't care. I'm ready. I'm ready for yous. I'm ready for yous. You know what? I don't want that up there. Let's move this. There we go. I don't know. For some reason, it's distracting up there. All right, let's go. Let's get into our Week 16 picks. We were 10-6 last week, picking 8-8 on our over and unders. Moving into Week 16, there is so much happening this week. So much happening. So many big games, and it starts off with a banger in San Diego. The Broncos head to the Chargers. Broncos 9-5, Chargers 8-6. This has so much playoff. There's so much playoff implications in this one. Positioning. There's a lot happening right here. So we got to look at it this way, folks. It's on. Week 16. It is frigging on, and it is on fire. So let's start out Thursday night. Let's take the Broncos +3 and 42.5 over under. We're going to take the over here. So we'll take the Broncos +3 and the over 42.5 over the Chargers in San Diego. Like I said, this on paper, man, this is going to be a good matchup. And again, on the injury thing, Hebert, he's questionable, but he's probably going to play. But it's good. This is a great matchup, man. I would hope that somehow that it maybe it'll rain a little bit in San Diego. Not enough to make it a weather game, but enough to make the game, interesting. And like, because I kind of see this as a little bit of a defensive battle. Let's not forget, the Broncos are 8th in the league in defense. So, like I said, this one could be good, folks. This one could be good. So let's move on to our next game, which brings us the Texans at the Chiefs. This is the week that Kansas City goes down. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the week Kansas City goes down. I think this is the week that Kansas City gets their asses handed to them. We're going to take Houston -1.5. Now, I think they're -1.5 for the mere. I mean, they're in Kansas City, but I think they're minus because of the Mahomes situation, and they're playing pretty hot. So Houston -1.5, 39.5 over under. We're going to take the over in this one. Stroud had a good game. Kansas City just doesn't look like Kansas City of old, but they just keep still winning games, 13-1. I mean, but look, and their scar is Buffalo. So I mean, what's that telling you, folks? What do we got here? Do we have a really good team, or do we have a lucky team? Do we have a team that gets lucky, gets the breaks, gets the calls? I mean, in the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been that way. It really hasn't been that way. And we'll find out this week in Kansas City. And that game is on a Saturday. That's the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday. So yeah, we'll take the Texans minus the 1.5, 39.5 over under. We'll take the over there. And now we're going to move on to what we got. We got Pittsburgh and the Ravens. Another division game. Most teams are finishing up within their division. There's only a couple teams that are not finishing in their, not playing in their division this week. This ain't one of them. There's another division battle. So we got to remember the last 2 games of the year are all division battles. So any playoffs, the stinger teams, the rivalries, everything comes to light right after week 16. So 17 and 18 are a lot more than what. We'll put it this way: we're in for some great football. I really feel that this year is going to be kind of lights out for this run here from week 16 to the Super Bowl is just going to be lights out football. I think we're going to see things we've never seen before. Steelers. We're going to take the Steelers +6, 44.5 over under. We're going under here. This will be a battle for sure. This will be the hardest hitting game of the week. I can almost guarantee it, and that's on a Saturday night in Baltimore. So this could be a weather game. You know what? Let's put this down as a weather game. We'll make this one a weather game. So mark that one down at home. We'll put this one down as a weather game. So playing at home, there you go. Make sure you scored that one. So yeah, Steelers +6, 44.5 over under. We're taking the under. Weather game in Baltimore. And then the Sunday games. Let's see. We got the Browns and the Bengals. Here we go. Another division matchup. Should be a good one. I mean, both teams playing sloppy. Both teams have capability of striking quick. Both teams have a quarterback who can throw the ball. One team has a quarterback that can throw to both teams, which is an unusual trait. But yes, James Winston. 3 more picks this week for that kid. God bless him, man. He's playing hard. He really is. Browns at Cincinnati. We'll take Cincinnati -7.5, 46.5 over under. Look for the Bengals to continue to put points up, even though the season is pretty much over. But none of that matters when these 2 teams hook up, no matter what time of year it is. Again, division, it's ugly. This will be an ugly game. Look for Cincinnati -7.5 with a 46.5 over for sure. The next game up is the Giants. Where are the Giants going to get beat up? Oh my God. Giants are going to Atlanta. Oh my goodness gracious. Yay, Atlanta. We just have to find Atlanta here. I thought they were right there. But I moved them. My bad. I moved them. What am I going to do? There ain't too much to say here, folks. Okay, either way, this is a trash game. If anything, I mean, let's see. We're picking Atlanta -10. Yeah, we're picking Atlanta -10, 41.5 over under. We're taking the under. I mean, the most I could hope for is a Giants upset, but I don't see it happening, so I can't pick them. So I have to stay just the way it is with that. So. Yeah, Giants at Atlanta. We'll take Atlanta -10 and under with the 41.5. I mean, really. I mean, what do you analyze about that game? Absolutely nothing to analyze there. So we'll move on to our next game, which is Detroit going to Chicago, which is pretty much the same thing. Only this time we know the one team is definitely going to be putting a thumping on the other team. I got to see the spread on this one is, yeah, we're taking the Lions -6.5, 48.5 over under at the Bears. Look, this is a game where the Lions could put the over on themselves. I wouldn't put it by them to put 48, 40. They're putting 40 up one way or another. You can mark it down. The Lions are going to put 40 up regardless. So -6.5, 48.5 over under. Again, there's not too much to analyze there. That game is pretty much pre-written. The next game is another game where you play it out, man. You do what you got to do. That's the Titans. Titans at the Colts. Titans at the Colts. Colts are way, way up the list. Ta-da! Titans at the Colts. Here we go with this one, folks. Wow. We picked the Colts -3.5, 42.5 over under. We're going under here. I mean, Colts had any chance, or they just give games away, so you never know what you're going to see. But I'm pretty sure they can handle the Titans, especially being in the house, the loud house. So yeah, we'll take the Colts -3.5, 42.5 over under. We're going to go under, and that'll bring us to our next game, where it kind of gets a little interesting for at least one of these teams, because one of these teams is in an absolute, it's got to win this game, and that's Arizona. Arizona's definitely got to take this game for sure. I think I fucked that up, but I did. I'll find out in the replay because I don't pay too much attention. I should pay attention, but I think I just fucked all that up. But we got Arizona taking on Carolina. In Carolina. Ooh. There you go. Hey, that was the first fuck up, man. All the way in. How long? We're 45 minutes in, and I fucked up finally. First time I fucked up. You know what that means? I'll take a break. Too bad every day ain't Christmas. Cash App, PayPal. Don't forget. Get in the comments. Interact, folks. Get in there. Where's our next game? Okay, Arizona. We're taking Arizona minus 4.5, 46.5 over under. We're taking the over. This is a game where I think Arizona could put up at least 30, 35 points themselves. So look for Arizona to take out Carolina. Again, not too much happening there in that game. Now we get to a game where it does start to get interesting when we move to the Eagles and the Redskins going at it. This should be a good one, folks. This should be a good one. Eagles, Redskins, as tough as it gets in the NFC East and rivalry-wise. I mean, you interact these four, Giants and Cowboys included, again, it doesn't matter what time of year, it doesn't matter records. Take everything and just throw it out the fucking window. Well, make sure when you throw it out a window for this game, it's off a fucking high roof. All right, you might want to go to a really high fucking building and throw the fucking playbook out for this game, because this game just turned up a notch. All right, you got all this shit that's going on in Philly, on and off the field. Now it's coaches. First it was players. Now it's coaches. It's coaches and radio stations. What else is new? Not only happen in New York, but it happens in Philadelphia. So Eagles got a lot, but once the ball is kicked off and in between the lines, this team is playing fucking incredible fucking football. But then again, so are the Redskins. So are the Redskins. The Redskins are playing insane football. They got lucky last week. Yeah, but they got lucky because they didn't have to be lucky because the referee blew the call. The referee made a bad call, so it almost blew it for them. But somehow they managed to hang on by the football gods, giving them a grace. We've seen what happened. We'll give you the pass. Now you come into this week with all kinds of stuff on the line. Big time. So look at this game to be the second hardest hitting one. Aside from Pittsburgh and Baltimore going at it on Saturday night, look for this one to go deep. Because these two teams historically go deep. So Eagles 12-2, Commanders 9-5. Redskins need this. Redskins need this game. So with that being said, we're going to take Washington plus 3.5, 45.5 over under. I'm marking this down as a weather game. And the reason I'm marking this one down as a weather game, because if it's a weather game in Baltimore, it has to be a weather game in Maryland. I mean, they're right next to each other in the same state, just a couple miles apart, but whatever. So we'll put this one down as a weather game too. So we'll take Washington at home against Philly plus 3.5, 45.5 over under. Look for the over. I'm taking a chance with this. I'm taking a chance with the over. This is the one game I'll say that's a chance. I'm taking a shot. I'm going to take a shot. All right, well, we don't have to worry about too much taking a shot in the next game, because I think, unfortunately, the Jets really ran into a really, really hot Ram team at this point in time. And they're playing with a purpose, which is usually very, very dangerous for some teams. And the way the Jets have been going this year, if it was ever dangerous for a team, guess what? The Jets are in trouble this week, folks. The Jets might be in trouble like the Giants were against the Ravens last week. Yeah, I'm looking at this heavy. I'm looking at this one to be pretty ugly. The Rams are -3, 46.5 over under. We're going to take the over. I'm looking for the Rams to put up a lot of points. Let's pay attention to Rodgers in this game and see if he makes it out and stays healthy in this game. That's all I'm going to say about that game. I'm very, very curious about the outcome of this game, especially on the health of Rodgers and where the Jets sit after this. But yeah, we'll take the Rams -3.5. -3, 46.5 over under, and we're going over. And we're going to, well, again, here we go when we talk big games. This is one of the biggest ones of the week. It is super, 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 super important. for both teams right here. What looked like, I'm not going to say, not a game of the week chance, but a game you would definitely pay attention to. But now all eyes are on this game. There's so much involved in this game this week between Minnesota and Seattle. Minnesota's just tied Detroit at 12-2 for top of the NFC. Seattle with a big loss to Green Bay gets knocked out of the playoffs. Their only hope they get back into the playoffs, and then they have 2 weeks to battle to maintain that position. There's a lot happening here, and because it's home, because it's in Seattle, because it's going to be a weather game, we're going to take Seattle plus 3 points. I'm looking at that over under 42.5. I look for it to be there's going to be points up regardless of the weather, so we'll take the over of 42.5. So we'll look for Seattle at home over Minnesota 42.5, and then we move on to the Sunday night game. Well, last week was, like I said, that was a massive, massive game for Tampa Bay, and they really, really needed that game. Well, thank God they got that game, because lo and behold, here we go. We got the Cowboys. I'm not taking anything for granted with the Cowboys, especially when it comes to my boys playing them. Historically, we're not good against them. We're not good in Dallas. Dallas destroyed us in the 1970, I think it was the 79 playoffs. They just cooked us like 55-0 or some shit. It was an ugly one. So this is a revenge game for me. Yeah, no, I'm not taking anything for granted with the Cowboys, especially the way they played against Carolina. They did look kind of good, but then again, it's Carolina. Look, Tampa Bay is playing some serious football. Baker is having a lights out year. I'm looking in to go in, knock these cats out, and then sweep the table for the next two, and then start my journey to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm hoping for. So we'll take the Bucks -4. 48.5 over under. We're going to take the over. Tampa Bay has been putting up points. I am not used to Tampa Bay putting up points like this, but we'll take it over Dallas on the Sunday night game. Next game after that, we're heading to Buffalo. The Pats in Buffalo. Not too much to say here, folks. This is a game that this game could get pretty freaking ugly, and it can get ugly probably pretty quick. I'm going to put it down as a weather game. Weather's getting rough up there in the north and the northeast, especially this time of year. So cold, windy, rainy, snow. We already seen a snow game there. We already seen bad weather there. But we know the Bills can handle it, and we know they can put points up because they put points up in the snow. I mean, that's what they do. That's why they're the Bills Mafia, I guess. But we'll take the Bills -14. Oof. Yeah, we're gonna give 14 points up. We gave it up last week and won. And by the way, that Ravens line moved to 16 before game time. We had it at 14. But remember, we're taking the early line, Tuesday line. So these lines fluctuate all week long, but we're locked in what we pick here on the show. So we'll take the Bills -14, 46.5 over under. We're taking the over here. Again, not too much to say. I mean, you're looking at the Bills. The Bills might put that up themselves. Again, to be honest with you, very capable of doing so. So don't be surprised if they come out of here with about 50 points or so. And speaking of 50 points, here's a team that might put 50 points up this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to Vegas, baby. They're going to Vegas. Take on the Raiders. The later Raiders. This team is horrible. I mean, 9 points. Holy Christ, people. 9 points. Raiders, yeah, well, we smoked them the week before, but They got smoked again. Not too much happening here. Hey, Jacksonville is hot, and they're putting up points, even though they're coming off a big loss to the Jets. I'm just trying, folks. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help teams out here. What can I do? Jags are 3-11. The Raiders are 2-12. What do you want me to say about this game? I'll tell you what you want me to say about this game. Who are you picking? We're picking Jacksonville -1.5, 39.5 over under. We are taking the under. I'd be surprised if this breaks 30. That is not a good game. But hey, it's football. Either way, it's football, man. So let's get to a real game here. Let's go to the Niners, who are on the road, going to sunny Miami. Take on the Dolphins, who pretty much wish that this was going to be a game, a meaningful game. It is not. It's just a game of pride. It's just a game of pride for the Niners. There's not too much happening here. I think the way I look at it, I think Miami's probably a little bit more hungrier. So we're going to take Miami -1.5 with a 45.5 over under. We're going to take the under here. And the last game of the week is the Monday night game. The Packers are home against the Saints. Packers are going to destroy this team. The Packers are going to destroy this team. I'm telling you right now. Another one. Let's put this down as an ugly game because this game's going to get ugly. This game's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly quick, probably. So, yeah, Saints Packers. This is another big spread here, folks. This is another big spread. Where we got 13.5. So we're giving up 14 to the New England, and we're giving up 13.5 to New Orleans. So we'll take the Pack -13.5, 41.5 over under. That is insane. With that kind of a spread, that's a no-brainer. Take the over 41.5. And there you have it to close out the week's picks. Packers over the Saints in Lambeau. Alrighty. So let's get ready to wrap up. We're going to take a peek at week 17. We're going to take a peek at week 17 and see what's going on. And then we'll get on out of here. So. There's your NFL leaders going across the bottom. Just remembering our two buddies from the beginning of the show, Randy Moss, Jim Tunney. Appreciate you. Rest in peace, Tunney. Keep fighting, Randy. We got your back, buddy. We got your back, my friend. We got your back. All right, let's take a peek at week 17, folks. See what the matchups look like for week 17. We're just taking a peek. Just a peek. It all gets started on Wednesday, Christmas Day. On Netflix. Oh, here we go with the NFL with the bullshit. Yeah, Christmas Day, we got the Chiefs at the Steelers and the Ravens at Texans. And then Thursday, the day after Christmas, like nobody knew that, Seahawks at the Bears. Then we go to Saturday, 3 games Saturday, Chargers at the Patriots, Broncos at the Bengals, Cardinals at Rams. And then Sunday slate is the Colts at the Giants, the Jets at the Bills, Titans at the Jags, Packers at Vikings, Raiders at the Saints, Panthers at Tampa Bay, Dolphins at Cleveland, Cowboys at the Eagles, Falcons at the Redskins, And the Monday night, December 30th game is the Lions at San Francisco. That's just your peek into week 17. All's good in the hood, as far as they say. No. What am I doing? Okay, I was checking. See how we're doing. We are good. All right. Missed you in the live chat. Wish you get you up here in that live chat, man. Need you in the live chat. That's what we need. We need some live chatting going on during the show. Need to interact. Need to interact a little bit more. That's all. Just need to interact a little bit more. Get you involved. Got plenty for you, folks. Got plenty for you, man. All right, you know me. I'm just getting shit ready, making sure everything is working so I can communicate with you knuckleheads. Man, I got some crazy shit in here. All right, there you go. All right, so there you go. We got all that going. Take a look at your leaders who are scrolling across the bottom there. Also, we got the headlines. What's up in the headlines? Miami's Grant Dubois, who was taken off the field in a stretcher on Sunday, has movement in his extremities and is doing a lot better, as the team reported today. Montgomery, who I talked about with the Lions, is possibly done for the year, folks. Big blow to the Lions. If that's true, that's a big blow. Maybe he can come back championship week or maybe even Super Bowl. Who knows? They're really hush hush. I don't know why. Just come out and tell us what's going on. But we'll find out. I guess we'll find out in the next couple of days what the severity is on him, Haber, and Mahomes, and see how they're feeling, because they all went down Sunday. Sorry, I forgot. Geno Smith, he missed the fourth quarter on Sundays. That definitely helped Packers win, but by then the Packers had that game anyway. Didn't matter if Geno was in there or not. They were beating the snot out of him. But yeah, look for Geno's. Geno's a go. I'm pretty sure Geno's a go. They said it was a knee, but it didn't look too much, and I'm sure he'll be fine. So we'll look for Geno Smith to come back, but yeah, and he's got to be back. I mean, they got the biggest game of the year for him. It's the biggest game. Their whole season's on the line Sunday against the Vikings. The whole season's on the line. So hopefully, Geno will be all right, be healthy, and we'll get the game we need, the game we want to see. As I mentioned earlier, the 49ers have suspended Devondre Campbell for the rest of the season. They put him on suspension. They didn't want to put him on waivers or have somebody to pick him up. I agree with the suspension once I heard what was going on. He is for conduct detrimental to the team. He refused to play. He was asked to go in to replace an injured player, and he refused and went to the locker room. So they said, well, pack your shit, get on the bus. You're suspended the last 3 games of the year. Have fun. I mean, that's fucking crazy, folks. I don't know what gets into these guys that could fucking think they're like this, man. Nobody's bigger than the fucking game, man. And if you ever wanted to smack in the face over fucking a teammate smacking you in the face, man, that's a kick in the fucking balls to a team. I mean, personally, I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. And if he came to my team in a trade or something, I'd have questions for him the first day I met him. I'd ask him about his loyalty. Jeff Goff had a shot the other night to make history and win his 13th game with the Lions. And when he does, if he does, when he does or if he does, he will tie Brady and Manning for 13 wins for two separate teams that they played for. That's pretty interesting. Lamar Jackson, like I said, he lit it up with 5 touchdowns over the Giants. Big fucking game for him, man. 35-14 and a total beatdown. Dolphins, any chance they had, they were gone in Texas. Like I said, the Jets managed to hold on. They got lucky. They took the fourth quarter off and just got lucky. They're playing anybody other than the Jags Sunday. That game is tied, or they wind up losing again in overtime. Like I said, the crazy Eagles, they put their 10th win in a row up. That's a franchise record, 10 wins in a row. Never done that before in their history. And like I said, Baker Mayfield, man. Baker had a freaking huge game over the Chargers. 4 touchdowns, 288 yards, 5 incompletions, and he had a 135.3 rating, people. Baker's on fire this year. I think he deserves a lot more recognition than he's getting. But he is getting kudos from the announcers, I'll tell you that. Troy Aikman actually texted with him last night. Made a comment about him, and old Troy said that nothing against Baker, but, you know. Anyway, it was kind of a good move. Good move. He made up. He said Baker's probably home, rubbing his belly, drinking a beer. So there you go. The Browns with 6 freaking turnovers on Sunday against the Steelers. 6, and 3 of them from Winston throwing interceptions. Look, I love the guy. I'm not a big fan of Winston. I wasn't when he was a Buck, but I do root for the guy because he plays with a lot of heart. So we'll give him his due. And Joe Burrow decides to go his 3rd straight game with 3 touchdown passes in 3 straight games. It's not a bad run, folks, with at least 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games. That's big time. That's Montana territory. That's Marino territory. That's Elway territory. That's Dan Fouts territory. I think Dan Fouts had the record for 4 touchdowns in consecutive games. Just an amazing fucking quarterback too, Dan Fouts. So yeah, there you have your headlines. You have your leaders all down there. We had our Week 16 picks, our Week 15 recap. We'll be back tomorrow night with our top 5 top 5 players of all time by position. And this week we are doing the top 5 all-time tight ends. So tune in tomorrow night for that one. Top 5 tight ends of all time. And our spotlight player, the great Spider Lockhart, Giant fame. Never heard of him? Well, that's what the third floor is about. We're going to go spotlight players that you kind of never ever heard of, but we're fucking insane, great players. Historically, number-wise, stat-wise, Hall of Famers that you probably never even heard of. Guys that should be in the Hall of Fame when you hear some of their numbers or what they did or what they done. Yeah, all coming at you tomorrow night. Top 5 of all time tight ends and spotlight player Spider Lockhart. Thursday night, Denver and San Diego pregame. We'll be on at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. A little bit. We're gonna break the game down for you instead of listening to the same shit over and over and over on the network. Tune in to us. We'll give you it straight and we'll talk some shit. And we hope that you guys interact with us on Thursday night, Wednesday night with my top 5. After my top 5 tight ends are in there, I go to the spotlight, so you have plenty of time to put your comments in there and put your top 5 in. So tune in tomorrow night for that. And yeah, and we're going to give you a PDC World Championship of Darts update on Friday. I've been paying attention. There's a lot going on, man. There's some crazy stuff going on. I got some clips set aside, so we got a special show coming up for that. Pay attention for that. Other than that, man, I thank you all for showing up. I ask you again, if you could help the show. There's two ways to help the show, and they're very easy. 1, Cash App, PayPal. 4 sponsors. I got 4 sponsors: W Energy Drinks, an alternative to coffee, and Reaper Apparel Company. Get in the Reaper Apparel Company, man, and save big with my links. My links are in there. Okay, they're all in the descriptions. So again, thank you for showing up. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you Thursday night. So until next time, folks, always remember when you come up to the 3rd floor to hang out with us, remember to bowl up, to bong up, and then beam on up to the 3rd floor. And we'll be hanging out here just waiting on you, hanging out in time and space. Love yous. Whoop. Balloons! Balloons!